Welcome to the Camouflage Educational Video Series session on the Camouflage Data Masking Best Practice. In this session, we will explore the steps to implement a data masking solution in your enterprise. We will explore the 4 phases of the Camouflage Data Masking Best Practice, which includes the discover, design, develop, and deploy phases. It seems as if all you hear lately are news stories depicting cyber attacks, data breaches, and cases of hacked databases, and the huge losses associated with them. Breaches are costing organizations millions of dollars and can affect millions of sensitive records exposing data of innocent people. The failure to adequately protect sensitive information from insiders is a gaping security hole and a global issue affecting virtually all geographies and industries. In recent years, legislation has emerged in an attempt to fight incidents like this, and organizations are now being held accountable if they fail to protect their sensitive data within their data inventory. From this, data masking technology has emerged as the new standard for security and compliance for today's increasingly strict legislative landscape. Let's take our first look at the Camouflage Data Masking Best Practice methodology. The first phase is the discover phase, where sensitive data within your organization's databases is found and analyzed. The second phase is design, where document data relationships are formed and risk analysis is performed. The next phase is develop, where masking rules are configured and data relationships are formed. And the final phase is deploy. This phase involves executing masking within the organization and business process integration. So let's dive a little deeper into each phase, starting with the discover phase. The discover phase involves documentation and education for the creation of rules to be used in data masking. Individual customer needs for data masking solutions vary widely depending on the size of the organization, complexity of the data, scope of the data masking project, and number of applications and projects involved. The goal of the discover phase is to identify the data that must be masked to sufficiently protect the data without compromising data utility. When considering data analysis, it is important to appreciate that data should be considered from a variety of perspectives. Only by looking at data from all perspectives can there be a complete understanding of the effects of masking on security and utility. The key activities within the discover phase include sensitive data discovery, system definition, security policies and GRC requirements, database policies and procedures, risk posture, and training. The key deliverables from the discover phase include the discovery project file and the draft functional masking document. The discover phase is typically 20% of the entire data masking project. Next, we'll move on to the design phase. The goal of the design phase is to put in place the criteria that will be used to mask the data and create context around the information that was discovered in the discover phase. The key activities within the design phase include data classifications, functional data requirements, data masking strategies, fit gap analysis, and environment requirements. The key deliverables from the design phase include masking requirements and strategy document, detailed functional masking document, and the test and acceptance plan. The design phase is typically 40% of the entire data masking project, making it a critical component of the Camouflage Data Masking Best Practice methodology. Next, we'll explore the develop phase. The goal of the develop phase is to create data masking configurations based upon customer-specific functional masking requirements defined in prior phases. Consideration is given as to how data masking configurations will be integrated into the overall refresh process for non-production environments. This phase also provides an opportunity to develop data masking schedules and establish appropriate change management processes. The key activities within the develop phase include creating masking configurations, develop customizations, create database subsets, QA and acceptance planning, and change management planning. This phase is designed to develop the data masking configurations that will be integrated into the overall production to non-production business process. It provides an opportunity to develop data masking schedules, as well as an opportunity to integrate data masking into the existing refresh and change management processes. At this point, the customer must decide what data should or should not be masked, how should the data be masked, what database-specific transformers will be used for masking, and what are the parameters for the transformation. The key deliverables from the develop phase include data masking and subsetting project files, tests and acceptance documents, and the draft data masking solution guide. The develop phase is typically 30% of the entire data masking project. Now on to deploy, the final phase. The goal of the deploy phase is to design and implement a plan for integrating data masking into the overall production to non-production business process. It provides an opportunity to develop data masking schedules and integrate data masking into existing change management processes. The key activities within the deploy phase include create backup and restore jobs, creating masking jobs, configure execution schedule, and operations training and handover. Final key deliverables include change management, change audit standard operating procedure, final functional masking document, and the final data masking solution guide. The deploy phase is typically 10% of the entire data masking project, as everything is in place and all decisions have been made in the previous stages. Prior to handoff, in-depth training is conducted with development and testing teams, and an execution schedule is created. Camouflage can offer a variety of professional service offerings as well as on-site or online training for hosts of data masking training classes. Project success will be linked to the timely review of deliverables by reviewers and approvers in accordance with the project schedule. At this point, the project is transferred to the data masking owners within the organization. Camouflage can provide post-implementation coaching and support after our consultants leave the customer premises. Discover our how-to sessions on the Camouflage modules that are critical components found within each of the phases of the Camouflage data masking best practice. The how-to videos include an overview of modules like Discover, where sensitive data is automatically located and identified, Mask, where sensitive data is removed and provides realistic test data, Subset, which creates smaller size copies of databases, and the Data Unity Framework, which allows consistent masking between datasets over time. Find out more information on each of these modules at our online video resources section at datamasking.com/resources/videos. For more information, contact a Camouflage representative today at info@datamasking.com or toll free at 1-866-345-8888. Also, check out our website at datamasking.com and follow us on Twitter at datamasking. This has been the Camouflage Data Masking Best Practice Overview, a part of the Camouflage Educational Video Series. Thanks for watching.